actor on his own when Moi left the stage. So he's also not here because his father brought him into the stage. He's a Kenyan, like any other Kenyan. So I think it would be very unfair to infer that we have held this country hostage as families.
I think you've answered the question, and I will also be asking you about your relationship with Uhuru Kenyatta in a moment. But I think there's an audience question that we had skipped, Joe.
Yes, and that was from Phyllis Omido. So we can do that before we wrap things up here. Phyllis.
Thank you. So the biggest contributor to climate change is carbon emissions. This is mainly from big business, especially tragic projects like the Lamu coal plant. Kenya has had a maize crisis that government has largely blamed on climate change. And yet, even after acknowledging contributions of climate change to food security, all the manifestos were silent in terms of mitigation of impacts of climate change to our communities. Now, even though your manifesto gave a leeway in terms of environmental social impact assessment before projects, I would like to know that for cases like the Lamu coal plant, where it's clear that the social environmental impacts will be irreversibly terrible for the communities, what would you do as an executive to protect communities from such impacts?
Well, we know that the climate change is a major threat to survival of humanity generally. And that's the reason why it's an issue that must be handled internationally. And that's why we have, as a country, made a lot of contribution to the debate on climate change all over the world. As a Prime Minister, I was very much involved in these matters. We as a country need to take action to protect our environment, to basically reduce the carbon emission coming from our country. Remember, I was responsible for conservation and protection of our water towers, which are 5 generally, and several others. We as NASA actually have discussed that issue, and that's why in our manifesto we're talking about doing due diligence on projects before they are sanctioned. You are talking specifically about a project in Lamu. But I just want to tell you that coal plants still exist all over the world. You go to China, they're there. You go to Europe, they're there. In the United States, they're there. There's what is called clean coal. Clean coal as opposed to just ordinary coal plants. So that is an issue that needs to be looked at more comprehensively rather than just emotionally. And it's not just one plant. There are several plants. So the clean coal projects generally are acceptable internationally. So this is what we need to debate. What kind of system are they putting up in Lamu? Because I know the environmentalists sometimes go overboard. You remember when we were setting up the Sondu Miriu project in Sondu, there was a lot of noise. The Tiomen plant in Kwale elicited also a lot of opposition. I think these are issues that we must look at on a case-by-case basis in order to justify actions that are being taken by the government. If the Lamu coal is a project that is going to destroy or interfere with the environment, of course we will not accept it. So it depends on what technology they're going to use.
Thank you, Honorable Odinga. We have 2 final questions before we allow you to make your closing statement. And earlier on, you defended both the Kenyatta and Odinga family about their role in politics. And I now want to come specifically to your relationship with President Uhuru Kenyatta. In one of your many football commentaries, Honorable Odinga, you once said, in my presence as a reporter, that Uhuru ameanguka chini sijui amekunywa nini, which in effect was a suggestion about sobriety or drunkenness. Last week, a few weeks ago, you sat quietly behind one of your political surrogates as he called Uhuru Mlevi and DP William Ruto Mwizi. Now, to their side, very many times, speaking in his Kikuyu language, Uhuru Kenyatta has referred to you as Mogoroki and Kimudu, which in my little understanding of the Kikuyu language means a madman. The Deputy President calls you, not with in complimentary terms, mtu wa vitendawili. This is basically your language, the language of Uhuru and the language of Raila. Do you approve of this kind of language for this level of leadership? Two people with a mathematical chance of becoming president.
I don't remember ever saying that Uhuru amenguka na sijui amekunywa nini. But even if I said it, it must have been with a light touch, that amekunywa nini. But that will not mean that he is a drunkard at all. And when you talk about one of my, you call him my surrogate, or I think that is not a fair comment on an honorable member of parliament, if that is what you mean. I mean, there are political jokes. If somebody says that the vehicle is being driven by a drunkard driver and a turnboy who is a thief, I don't think he was meaning of Ruto, unless they themselves feel guilty. I think that is just said with a light touch. Politics must come up with some jokes. And like when Uhuru refers to me as Kimundu Muguruki, I don't think he means it. I don't think he thinks I'm a madman. But that basically means that the kitchen is too hot for him. So if the kitchen is too hot, get out of the kitchen. You see? And the deputy president, Ateo William Mzee Vitendawili. You see, that means there's something that is issuing him about Vitendawili. And I say that Pilipili Shoila, Yakuashani, if you're having a problem with it, just leave it. So we in NASA, we basically respond seriously to allegations that are made, but we also respond in kind and sometimes in jokes if the debris becomes very irresponsible. We tell them what we think should be right. That is politics, in my view.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Odinga. Finally, there are a lot of Kenyans who are worried about the election we will have in the next 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, there are Kenyans who are stocking up. There are Kenyans who are making plans to travel to different places. There are even some foreign missions that are issuing some travel advisories around this election. Do you share those concerns, Mr. Odinga?
I would love to inform Kenyans that Kenyans have a constitutional right to participate in these elections. I think there's some scarecrow. Some people are basically trying to scare Kenyans because they want to deprive those Kenyans of their constitutional right to vote. So people are being told, oh, there's going to be violence around. Some notes have even been written threatening some people so that the people can run away, particularly from urban areas, to go to safety. I have urged our supporters not to fall to this, that they should stay put. I don't see any problems happening. We have said that there will be no violence in Kenya so long as elections are free and fair. And the government has assured us that they are not going to interfere. The IEBC has assured us that the elections are going to be free and fair. So we should not be scared. people should not run away from where they're staying, because by running away, you are actually depriving us of your vote, either Jubilee or NASA. So we want these elections to be won fairly. And we want Jubilee to also desist from trying to manipulate the electoral results, as I mentioned earlier on, using the security forces. We want to win fairly. And if we win fairly, fine. You've also said that in the unlikely event of us losing, we will congratulate Jubilee. They've been asking you all the times, are you going to accept results? We will accept free, fair electoral results. Outcome. If they are free and fair, we will accept them.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Odinga.
Before you leave.
We will welcome you to make your closing comments.
Thanks. Let me stand up here. There are two groups of people I did not address. One issue of housing, I did not address it in the context that we are discussing it as NASA. That we are going to invest heavily on low-cost housing that is affordable to the population.
Yeah.
So,
please use the microphone.
Yeah. That we are going to invest as NASA in low-cost housing, which is the problem right now. That's why people are having issues in the slums. That our youth can get decent housing when they get married as families. That happened in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Malaysia. Okay? The other one are the single mothers. These young ladies who either have divorced, or their husbands have died, or they just got children. These mothers are having serious problems bringing up families. We say that we are going to pay special attention to this group so that they can be able to access capital, so that they can be able to do business or get employment, so that they can be able to look after their children properly. Finally, I just want to start Kenyans that we are on the brink of history as a country. It has been a long journey to reach where we have reached today as a people. 8th of August is going to remain in the annals of our history as a very historic day for our people. Every Kenyan who is able, who is registered as a voter, must turn out to cast their vote to participate in history making. I'm sure that at the end of the day, Kenyans are going to emerge victorious. So we urge you, whether you're a Jubilee supporter, if you're a NASA supporter, turn up and vote for us, because Nane Nane will remain forever a very important day in your life. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana wa Kenya kwa kunisikiliza. Juta ya kwamba ndugu yangu Uhuru Kenyatta hakukuja. Ningependa sana akae pale, nieleze yale maneno yote, akisikia apate fursa ya kujibu, lakini ameniwacha peke yangu. Ameniweka shere, lakini ndio ameweka boya hapa, lakini vijana haya mimi namtakia kila laheri, na rafiki yake Bwana Ruto natakiwa heri. Nasema hii mchuano itakuwa ya kirafiki, na yule ambaye atashinda ashinde, na siyekubali kushindwa sio mshindani. Shukran, asante sana.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now that closing statement from candidate Honorable Raila Odinga marks the end of tonight's debate and indeed the 2017 presidential debate series.
Indeed, we thank the candidate, the Honorable Raila Odinga, for the lively engagement, which hopefully the Kenyan voter watching tonight found useful.
Now, on behalf of Debates Media Limited, all broadcasters involved and partners that supported this endeavor, we thank you. My name is Joe Ageo of KTN News.
And my name is Linus Kaikai of NTV. Mr. Odinga, you may now step forward for a handshake and further interaction. To our viewers out there, good night and thank you for watching.
Good night.